Good afternoon from the National Weather Service office in Gaylord. Welcome to the latest hazardous weather briefing for eastern upper and northern lower Michigan. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2013. A wet weather pattern will continue across the Great Lakes region right on through the weekend as a slow-moving storm system comes out of the Rocky Mountains. It eventually crosses the upper Midwest and will move through the upper Great Lakes at some point on Sunday. Before that happens, however, periods of showers and thunderstorms will continue to sweep across Michigan starting this evening, and that will continue right through the day on Sunday when a cold front will be moving across the region. We do expect some thunderstorm activity from time to time. The greatest threat for severe thunderstorms at this point looks to be south of northern Michigan, mainly across southern lower Michigan during the day on Saturday ahead of that approaching cold front. There is a possibility of some continued heavy rainfall across the region through Sunday morning. We already saw some decent rainfall amounts from last night's precipitation, and conditions are still favorable for some heavier downpours right up through Sunday morning, and we could see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain and possibly more in some spots from tonight through Sunday morning. The recent dry weather has allowed stream flows to be relatively low on area rivers, so there is some room for this runoff to go, but there could be some local ponding of water in low-lying areas, especially if the rainfall rates are particularly heavy for a long period of time. Here's the current weather map for this Friday afternoon. We see low pressure located over southern Nebraska with a wavy frontal boundary that extends eastward into southern lower Michigan. The low over Nebraska will be slowly strengthening as it tracks to the east-northeast along that boundary through the weekend. Eventually that surface low will come through lower Michigan at some point on Sunday, but out ahead of it we'll have a warm, moist flow of air up and over the top of that warm frontal boundary, which will probably remain south of the forecast area through the weekend, and that will continue to squeeze out periods of showers and some thunderstorm activity. The air mass south of that warm front is rather warm and moist, and thus the possibility of some heavier precipitation will continue through Sunday morning. Here's a look at the 3-day rainfall total map. This map runs through Monday morning, and we see a fairly wide area of 1 to 2 inch rainfalls and possibly a little bit more than that locally expected over at least the next 36 hours across a good chunk of northern Michigan, and that's some much needed rainfall. It's been fairly dry over the past couple of weeks, so as long as the rainfall doesn't get too excessive, this is a fairly welcome rainfall across the region. So from a hazards perspective, again, looking at thunderstorm possibilities over the next at least 36 hours. Again, the greater threat for severe thunderstorms will be south of northern Michigan, across southern parts of the state and back to the west across Wisconsin. But there is a threat for some continued heavier rainfall amounts through Sunday morning. Again, some areas that have already picked up 1 to 2 inches of rainfall last night could pick up another 1 to 2 inches of rainfall through Sunday morning. So that will saturate the ground, and like I said earlier, could lead to some localized ponding of water. At this point, it doesn't appear that we'll see a widespread flood threat unless the precipitation ends up being quite a bit more than we're currently expecting. That concludes this hazardous weather briefing for this afternoon. Thank you for listening in. The next update is expected around 5 a.m. Saturday morning.